وَلَا تَهِنُوا. Don't be weakened. The first thing we should know about that is what this word weak, what's the etymology of it? What does it come from in the Arabic language? They say a person has wahan, a man has wahan, when a person's bones or his body, his muscles have become weak. When something loses its strength from the inside, that's actually called wahan. So weakness that emanates from within is called wahan. They use the word for birds. If birds eat something that makes them sick and they can't fly anymore, then that bird is experiencing wahan because it can't even get up and fly anymore. So it's lost its ability. So generally speaking, the meaning of it is actually what used to be a capability or a toughness on the inside has become softer. Now, what this is containing, the reason I thought this was important, by the way, the Quran uses this for, the old age of Zakaria alayhi salam, وَهَنَ الْعَظْمُ مِنِّي, right? My bones have become so brittle, they're rebelling against me. That's actually what the phrase implies. On the other hand, Allah uses it for a spider's web. إِنَّ أَوْهَنَ الْبُيُوتِ لَبَيْتُ الْعَنْكَبُوتِ. The weakest of the homes, the most brittle homes, is the home of the spider. Right? So the idea that it's inherently weak, it can break easily. Right? Now Allah uses that word, and let's understand from a psychology point of view, the impact of that word and the context in which it is placed. You see, the Sahaba are, once they come to Medina, there's hope. Because Mecca was a hopeless situation. Now we come to Medina and there's hope. And now the Prophet ﷺ is also actually the governor of Medina. So he's in a position of authority. And on top of that, the first battle that has happened with the Quraysh went in our favor. Right? And Allah wanted for us to go against the harder enemy, and we won that battle by Allah's help. وَلَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِبَدْرٍ وَأَنْتُمْ أَذِلَّةٌ. So the spirits are high, and we're kind of getting used to this more victory. And we go with that same morale, now we're more than 3 times that number, into Uhud. To give by analogy to tell you, if somebody gets used to winning, right? If somebody gets used to winning, and then all of a sudden they lose, right? Then it's pretty demoralizing. What just happened? They get shaken up. I know it's a terrible analogy, and I probably shouldn't give it to you, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. So you have these movies, right, where there's a boxer who's used to winning all the matches, right? And then one time he just gets hit and he's like, what just happened? He gets thrown off. And he's not won, he's not lost yet, he's still stronger, he's still more able, but in his head he's broken. Like it's a psychological war before it's any other kind of war. And that's a metaphor for life. And those of you that are going to start commenting about what movie that is, astaghfirullah al-azim. Okay? But anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that when you're used to things going right, and you have high expectations and high hopes, and the Rasul of Allah is with us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he made dua for us, and he put his armor on, and there are all these signs that things are going to go well, and then things fall apart. They completely shatter. And the Prophet himself is almost killed, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's pretty demoralizing. I mean, it's pretty natural to feel like weak on the inside and broken. Like what just happened? It comes and hits you out of nowhere. Allah, had He wanted, none of this would have happened. If Allah wanted, the angels would have come, like they did in Badr, and before a Sahabi could swing a sword, they would have been burnt. That's what they described at Badr. He could have done that at Uhud too, but He wanted the Muslims to experience this difficulty. This was part of the plan. You see, these ayat of the Quran, are the word of Allah, that Allah says, "Ala wa Qur'anan faraqnahu litaqra'ahu 'ala an-nasi 'ala mukthin wa nazzalnahu tanzila." This is a Quran, this is a recital that we broke it apart so we could reveal it to you at the right occasion. So this circumstance had to exist because these ayat had to give us timeless guidance, not just for the events of Uhud, but for until Muslims are going to be around on earth. They're going to need guidance. And so these events had to happen. It had to happen this way, which means Allah is teaching us that there has to be difficult, disappointing, devastating events in life. And if Allah's Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the best of the people, the Sahaba, were not spared devastation, if they were not spared the most horrible experiences, then you and I shouldn't think, I pray, I make dua, I don't do anything haram, why does bad stuff happen to me? Right? That's not a question anymore, because Allah has actually created these circumstances for the best of people. Who are we? And they're being given a lesson in this most devastating circumstance. And they're being told, don't be weak. Don't be weak doesn't mean that you're not feeling weak on the inside, that you're not feeling powerless on the inside, but don't let that powerlessness define you. That's an experience you have to go through, but it's not who you are.